Good afternoon. You're listening to WVBN, the world's choice for weekly news. Despite taking an initial anti-Morgana position, the League of Nations abstained from condemning Germany over their use of Morgana weather technology, either recognizing its inevitable use or to avoid isolating the hostile nation further. Even so, they did maintain a heavy caution against using such technology in any scenario. The Allies reportedly began to encourage German captains through the INPF to passively resist German attempts to use Morgana technology, arguing the technology still posed a threat to the nation regardless of their attempts to handle it. Certain captains were found to be more sympathetic than others. As a whole, however, the Axis remained committed to the use of this new technology, while the Comintern reminded the Allies that it was Germany who was using this technology, and not them. The Italian government received yet another transmission from Vanity this week, this time detailing an exact date of her proclaimed conference. Intelligence believes it was to have originated somewhere in the Adriatic. The appearance of a dead disease, which was promptly quarantined, and other Lesa Morgana incursions, continued to stretch the Italians thin. France was shown a glimpse of the true power of bells when the Belle of Dunkirk arrived to help repair her wounded sister Strasbourg after the Battle of Heligoland. Repairs that would have normally taken weeks or months were completed in a matter of days, and in perfect condition. This spurred efforts to awaken any and all possible ships in the Marine Nationale. In French Indochina, authorities opted against increasing support to China, so as not to garner the ill will of Japan. Speaking of Japan, a large faction in the Navy has emerged to advocate for more lenient terms of a peace treaty with China, in contrast to the Army's harsher demands. This still would see Wang Jingwei lead a more autonomous reorganized government, with the hope that other warlords in China might follow his example. The emperor himself seemed amenable to the idea. At sea, the Japanese Second Fleet sailed into the heart of Delusion's maze, to allow their expert mathematician the opportunity to study it. 2 days later, the fleet emerged mostly unharmed, but with their experts severely traumatized. Even so, he still claimed he could solve the maze. The American Atlantic Fleet was sent to Brazilian waters to assist with the fight against a sin. Though they were unsuccessful and suffered the loss of 2 destroyers, the Brazilian Navy returned to port with recovered Morgana devices and appealed to the U.S. for support. In the Pacific, Maryland's intelligence allowed her to intercept a murder group by surprise, who vowed to destroy the battleship. The Norfolk Project team saw this as more evidence that the development of Morgana communication technology for the benefit of the nation was a worthwhile endeavor. The Soviet Union received word that their new cruisers Blücher and Prinz Eugen would depart immediately for the Pacific, while Seydlitz would depart when seaworthy. They would be instrumental in improving fleet readiness there, which had previously been the duty of a few small vessels and the goodwill of Japan. The Baltic Fleet encountered the Finnish ship Aura II, who had apparently awakened a bell immediately before engaging a Morgana fleet, which resulted in the ship suffering a large explosion before vanishing. Neither nation has commented if they are aware of her whereabouts. The United Kingdom launched a raid on Heligoland before it could be reoccupied by Germany. With assistance from the Royal Navy, a small fleet sailed toward the island and deployed a contingent of Royal Marines, but not before suffering the loss of a destroyer and light cruiser. The Marines were successful in retrieving an unknown piece of technology. In the Pacific, ships stationed near Delusion's Maze began to recover any ship unlucky enough to pass through it, with most victims being near catatonic. Britain also joined France in their efforts to awaken as many bells as possible. Germany was unable to stop the British from raiding Heligoland due to poor weather and the lack of remaining defenses from the earlier bombing raids. The raid was successful, though the Kriegsmarine did score 2 victories against Britain. Nevertheless, many in Berlin believed Germany did not come out on top. That's all for this week. Join us again at WVBN as we bring you the latest news from around the world. From all of us here at the studio, stay safe out there.